Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy CowboyJobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just doesn't work. Man, things are beginning to heat up, of course, because I know the NFL league season does not start until March 14th. Well, make that March 11th, because that's when technically teams can start talking to free agents. And of course, there's the annual free agent friendly. Building up to that, though, is the thought process. Now, what NFL teams like to do is deception. Deception is key to success. You never want the other guy to know what you're really doing. You'll say, well, this is what we're going to do over here, but you're really over here. You never want a team to know that you really want that guy, because then they make you pay to get that guy. So really, when you think about the draft, when we've talked about all these players that the Dallas Cowboys are interested in, the Johnny Manziels, and then you draft the Zach Martin. Because you may really be focused on trying to get this one. And other teams are finding out, hey, I'm interested in it too, but I'm going to have to move up and take him sooner than I want. Sometimes you get lucky. And with that being said, that's where you are with every single move. When you're doing a game plan, deception is key. A lot of time a play succeeds because you got the team thinking you're going over here when you're really going over there. You could almost say that that was one of the downfalls for our Dallas Cowboys this past year, because everybody knew where we were going with the football, thus making it that much easier to stop them. So, with that being said, we have Jason Garrett coming up in another hour at the Combine, and it'll be interesting to see what Jason Garrett has to say, because we haven't heard much from Jason Garrett this offseason. We've heard from Stephen Jones talking about Dez Bryant in the future. We've heard, of course, from Jerry Jones, and of course the cat fight that is Jerry versus Roger Goodell. But we haven't heard much from Jason Garrett, the man whose job is hanging with this season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say. Now, for all of you Cowboy fans out there who are thinking that we're going to be in the Kirk Cousins musical chairs, you can forget about that. In fact, you can forget about us going after veteran quarterbacks. The team is basically saying, we're good with Dak Prescott. We're not looking to sign a big-name veteran quarterback. So, there's that. Is that a case of deception? Well, they were never going to sign Kirk Cousins, regardless of what you've heard from some of the talking heads. But you might see them look for somebody with a little bit more experience than Cooper Rush, possibly, at least in my mind. But we'll have to wait and see where that goes. Now, back to Dak Prescott. What's interesting is, on Instagram, I was looking at a post that was listing Tony Romo's playoff numbers, and they're not bad. They're not bad at all, per se. I want to say 8 touchdown passes and only 3 or 4 interceptions. Not bad numbers. They say don't blame Tony Romo. He did enough. I think it was I want to say a 91 QBR. If that's the marker, Dak Prescott in one playoff game had 3 touchdown passes. Had a 103 QBR. And no interceptions against Aaron frickin' Rodgers. So, if Tony Romo was not to blame for our playoff failures, we won't talk about the 8-8 games. And Dak Prescott has already done better in the one playoff game that he played in versus the 6 that Tony Romo played in. Then maybe the future is bright with him. Now, the thing about Dak Prescott, one, right now we are blessed because, and that's right, I say blessed, because he was drafted so late. His contract truly is chump change. Less than $1 million. Now, this year basically is a contract year for him. At least that's the way I look at it. Because it's the end of this year is when you want to start extending him on that contract. So this is a make or break season for Dak Prescott, contract-wise. Although I don't think they're ever going to let him become a free agent. But look for Dak Prescott to really take another step forward. We've got the sophomore slump out of the way. We got Jason Garrett basically on the hot seat and them fighting now for their jobs. And I think they're going to get a little bit more creative than what we've seen. So with the NFL being the way it is, which is a roller coaster ride season to season, a team will do really good and then they'll come back down to earth. They'll do really good and they'll come back down to earth. With that natural cycle, 2016 we were really good and we came back down to earth with a lot of problems that we had no control over. If that normal curve is that we're coming back up and we have some of those things that happened to us not happen next year, Zeke Elliott suspension, a little better health, heck, maybe the ball bounces our way a couple times, maybe a few calls happen, you could see next year actually being a monster year for the Cowboys. I know people are looking at me saying you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about, and that may be true. These are my thoughts and opinions on what I believe will happen. And where do I get all this from? Well, basically, I look back to the past at what's happened. I look at the situation, see if anything is relevant to what we've seen before, and I look at the trends. And then football, that's about the best you can do because, quite honestly, everything is an educated guess when it comes to football. There is no rhyme or reason. So we'll see what happens with this press conference, guys. And any other news with the Cowboys, of course, I will be bringing it to you. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu, and I'll see you soon.
Hello, friends. Cowboy Jobu here with the Jobu Sports Report. And, guys, I am here with one of the stars from The Daily Show. And I got to ask him a question. Rob Riddle, any advice for a budding comedian here? Any advice? Any?
Jobu, is it?
Jobu, Cowboy Jobu, the most interesting beauty doll in the NFL.
Honestly, don't change a thing. I actually think you're ahead of the curve, my man.
You heard it live from Rob Riddle. I'm Cowboy Jobu in awe. Thank you very much.